Time now for Night Court. You may remember this guy, Attorney Daniel Uhlfelder, who dressed up as the Grim Reaper to protest Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' decision to reopen the state's beaches last spring. Well, he also unsuccessfully sued the governor, trying to lift, because the governor lifted the restrictions and opened up the beaches. Now an appeals court is calling some of his actions so frivolous that he could be facing sanctions. So let's discuss this case with criminal defense attorney Brian Claypool and Washington Times legal affairs reporter and attorney Alex Sawyer. Welcome to you both.
Hi, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
So his lawsuit against Governor DeSantis gets tossed. He appeals it. That brings us to Exhibit A. This is from the appeals court order. It says the appellant, meaning this guy, the Grim Reaper attorney, fails to demonstrate even an arguable legal basis for reversal. He shall show cause within 15 days why this court should not impose sanctions, including attorney's fees and costs on him and counsel for filing this appeal, the initial brief, and the request for oral argument, which appear to be frivolous and or filed in bad faith. Brian.
Hey, Shannon. Well, it's not all grim for Mr. Reaper. An appeals court should not be using a courtroom to promote a political agenda. And I think that's what's going on here. I mean, I've never seen an appellate judge threaten sanctions on an appeal. Let me get this straight. The Grim Reaper wants to have heard a constitutional right about public safety. Think about the repercussions, Shannon, if this judge summarily throws this out and then monetary, just so your viewers know, a sanction means a monetary fine. What does that mean? That's going to chill the First Amendment rights of people across the country to come in and have their rights heard. And then secondly, the trial judge in this case actually said the opposite. He said, hey, Mr. Grim Reaper, you actually might have a claim here, and I'm going to dismiss it right now so that you can go up to the appellate court. So we really have a logjam there.
Yeah, the appellate court does not sound impressed with what they've seen so far, but let's go to Exhibit B. This is the Grim Reaper attorney's response to the court because he was ordered, you got to show us why you're doing this. He says, while denying relief below, the trial court did recognize the sincerity of appellant's undertaking and the gravity of the harm sought to be averted. The appeal was not frivolous within the meaning of Florida case law. Similar litigation in other states in the face of COVID-19 has not been seen as frivolous. Alex, I think you're probably licensed in Florida like I am. This is our home turf here.
It is my home turf, but I'm actually Texas, so not necessarily caught up on Florida sanctions. But I will say that I think that there's definitely a level of hypocrisy here. He's talking about how unsafe the beaches are, yet he goes to the beaches and stages photo ops. I think that this is done not in good faith. It's for publicity reasons. The trial judge actually said that there's a separation of powers issue here. We've talked about police powers belonging to the executive, and I think that that's the problem that we've seen with this lawyer. He's brought this lawsuit. He's also brought a lawsuit trying to issue a stay-at-home order statewide. He's also brought a number of lawsuits trying to shut down Trump rallies, and they've all been tossed out. I think that there's a backlog right now we're seeing across courts in every state, especially Florida. I've talked to some lawyers down there, and they say that this is just, it's a problem. The court doesn't have the resources to deal with this, and I think a public or private reprimand would send the message to lawyers that this type of publicity stunt, it shouldn't be tolerated.
Well, one of the first things all three of us probably learned in law school was that there are sanctions for frivolous lawsuits. So apparently this appellate court is going to need some more convincing that the Grim Reaper has a legit case. So we'll see. All right, everybody at home, you are now the jury. Brian and Alex have made their cases. We leave it to you to decide. We'll let folks know what happens. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Shannon.